You came back, and this time, everything changes. For 39 books, the Old Testament has been reaching towards someone. A promised offspring, a son of David, a suffering servant, a new covenant, a king whose kingdom never ends. And then this book opens with a long list of names, a genealogy that finally arrives. Abraham, David, the exile, and then Jesus, who is called the Messiah. Matthew writes for people who know the whole Old Testament story, and he says on almost every page, remember that promise? Here is the one who keeps it. This is the Gospel of Matthew. The King has come. Here is the question Matthew forces on everyone who was waiting for the King. What if he is nothing like you expected? They were waiting for a warrior king, someone to ride in with an army, crush the Romans, and put Israel back on top. A throne, a crown, power. And instead, a baby, born to a teenage mother, laid in a feeding trough, in a backwater town. A king who would ride into his capital on a borrowed donkey. A king whose throne would turn out to be a cross. That is the scandal at the center of this gospel. God kept every promise, but he kept them in a way almost nobody saw coming. The king came down, all the way down. So the question is, will you accept the real king, or only the one you imagined? He is born under a star, in a manger. Wise men travel across the world to kneel before a peasant baby, while a paranoid king tries to kill him. From the very first page, this king is humble and hunted. He grows up and he begins to teach. On a hillside, he turns the whole world upside down. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. It is the constitution of a kingdom unlike any the world has ever seen. And he has power to back it up. He touches the sick and they are healed. He speaks to storms and they go still. He calls the dead and they get up. Authority over everything. And then he turns toward Jerusalem, on purpose. He rides in to shouts of Hosanna, and within a week he is betrayed for a handful of coins, arrested and condemned. They crown him with thorns. They enthrone him on a cross. The king of the universe executed like a criminal, as the sky goes black. But Sunday comes. The stone rolls away. The tomb is empty. The king is alive. And he gathers his followers on a mountain and gives them their orders. All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations. And remember, I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Here is the turn. The king did not stay on a throne far above you, waiting for you to climb up and earn your way into his presence. You never could. He came down to a feeding trough, to the lepers nobody would touch, to the tax collectors and the prostitutes and the